Hi, welcome to MVB TV. We are back again and we have an interesting topic today. But before that, I'm going to let our panel introduce themselves. The host is today, I'm going to be George, but I'm going to start from here. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Aiden.
Malini.
I'm Dawn.
Octavia.
All right, thank you. Today's question is going to be interesting and fun. And so please give us your time and let's learn together. And the question today is there a perfect age to get married? Is there a perfect age for one to get married? So I don't know which angle you want me to start from. I don't want to be calling people name. I think you
Yeah,
are ready.
Octavia
So
has
yeah.
a.
Okay, speaking for myself, um, I don't think there's a perfect age to get married. I think you have to wait based off the timing of God. But I do know there are people who culturally they feel like they have to get married before 30 or no later than 30.
Okay. Any other subject?
I don't think that there's a perfect age for marriage, but it depends on what you're hoping to accomplish in the marriage. Obviously, if you're looking to be fruitful and multiply, then you would want to be married before the years for the woman end where she can do that. But it takes a matter of maturity and readiness and understanding of what marriage really is and what's required of you in your role in the marriage to be able to be successful. So, you can be 29 approaching 30 and thinking, okay, that I'm hitting the mark, but maturity wise, you're not there. And it's probably, or, if you're a man and you're subscribes to the idea that you have to be financially fit to take care of your family, then and your money's not there, then you haven't reached that age yet.
Okay. You want to add anything?
I agree with what they both said. It's a matter of like maturity, but also if you know you definitely want to get married, don't wait until it's too late. Because, for example, women, childbearing ages, right? Your body, they tell you, the doctors, it's better when you're younger, especially like in your 20s, early 20s, before, to kind of like early 30s, they tell you it's easier for your body to be able to carry a child properly without you having complications. The older you get, the harder it will be. So if you see that you want to have children in your future, then you have to start preparing yourself mentally, also your finances, and also just your character as a person. Can you be a wife? Can you be a mother? There are things you need to look out for to say, are you able to handle this? So you're not just gonna get married because you want to have babies, or you're not just gonna get married because you just want to have a man that is going to cater for you. So there's a lot of factors you have to think about. But there are some key things, like I'm saying, in terms of marriage or like having kids. It definitely will play a big role, unless you meet a person that really doesn't care about having children and stuff like that. Then you could get married at 40, 50, 60. It's your choice. But if children are, in the works, then definitely you have to look at age.
Okay. We want to add anything?
God's timing. I think just waiting on God to like open that door. Like I don't think we should be rushing it or you know delaying if you don't have to. I think you should just wait till God tells you and makes it clear like, hey, this is your wife or this is your husband. I don't think.
It sounds interesting, but what and when is God timing? How do you know this is the right timing?
Um, I think, not to be too spiritual, but I think you'll know. I think if you're in tune with God, like I think God will make it clear to you.
And I think like not even to spiritualize it or anything.
Yeah.
When you are in tune with God, like he said, you are learning what the Father requires.
Mm.
You are learning what God wants, what attributes. So basically, it's not necessarily to just say, "Oh, now I have money, I can get married." That's not it. So when you read the Bible and you read the Word, God tells you, "Walk, my son, walk in this way." Like I believe we studied one about King Lemuel or something, and the mother was talking to King Lemuel and saying, "Oh, my son, don't let these wayward women steal you away from the presence of God. Don't be attracted to outside things just because, they look pretty. You might lose your soul. You might lose, that kind of thing." So when you read this word, I know it sounds very deep, but it's basically just telling you, okay, don't go and do these kind of things, or don't look for this type of woman because you might end up lost. Don't look for a person who does this because this might not work well for you. So it sounds like you're being too spiritual, but when you read the Word of God, really, it tells you do's and don'ts. And when you have matured enough to say, okay, I'm in this place, then you have this conviction in you. You will know. And if you listen to the voice of God too, you'll be able to know. Sometimes God will tell you this person is not good for you, but because they have six packs and they look sexy and amazing, you're like, no, God, this is my wife, this is my husband. But you know in your heart of heart that God told you this is danger zone. Like there's just this feeling, like a sixth sense, should I say? Especially for women, let me say.
I think that just for me, because everybody knows I've been engaged for a little while, and I think that the best thing is to definitely understand yourself, because maybe you're not prepared yet. I think I was speaking to Sister Dawn, and you want to know what you're getting yourself into, right? You want to know what are you going to be able to offer into that relationship. So I think definitely be single, understand your self-worth, understand what you are doing in this God journey, to know that how to prepare yourself so when you get into an actual marriage, everything goes smoothly.
Yeah.
Of course, you're gonna have some trials and tribulations, right?
Yeah.
But you know exactly what you're getting into, and you know what to expect because you prepared yourself and you worked on yourself.
Okay. I guess to the question, we are all in the same part, saying there is no timeline to when or the right age for someone to get married, right? But there is this story that we hear, like, you should be married by 25, and if you are by 30, that is like you are it's too late, right? Because like the society that we live in, it has a way of coming up with some rules and conventions and things that forces us to do certain things, right? So since we are not coming up with like a perfect alignment in terms of age, are there benefit in getting married early? Because right now on the panel, everybody seems to agree there is no timeline, although society forces us to get married early and has diverse meaning when it comes to the right age, the perfect age kind of range to get married. There's no like a straight answer to it. So are there benefits as to when one gets married early?
I think that there are some pros to getting married early, and a lot of it has to do with growing with your person. When you enter into a relationship of marriage early, there's a lot of flexibility of thought, mind. There's the molding to each other is, I think, a little easier than when you're already well established in your thought patterns as a 50-year-old person. So when you're 19, 20, you're married to someone, whether they're the same age or not, there's a flexibility of thought and even in your day to day, right? You're still growing, right? You're not your brain hasn't even finished fully developing.
Yes,
So
that's right.
you're able to be, I think, molded to the person, and you develop a friendship that's different than when you're older. Not to say it couldn't happen, but it's like having children when you're very young versus having children when you're advanced in age. So when you're a young parent that's probably, let's say, in your late, like 19, 20, or whatever, and you have a child, your relationship, the way you relate to the child is different than when you're older. So your proximity in age matters. You'll find that there's a youthfulness. Not to say that the older person is not can't be youthful,
Right.
but there's an understanding. So Aiden is my only child, but I had him when I was 24, and I believe that the relationship I had with him would be different than if I had a child today, because I was still growing, and as he was growing, and my energy was still a certain level when he was little. So I think there's benefits to the being younger. Obviously, when you're older, you have more maturity, and if you marry someone who's older and has more maturity, then the way you approach the relationship can be beneficial that way.
Okay. Any addition? Are there like benefits of getting married early? Like I know you brought up a few points, which is great. You grow with you grow with the children. If children come into the picture, you have enough energy. And with science and technology, we have come to realize um, the earlier you give birth, it help the children themselves. And then the older, there are some complications, just like she mentioned. So are they any extra addition to getting married early?
Well, I think like if you do that, you have decided to take a journey of forever together. So in that instance, I'll say maybe you have a best friend for life. Yeah, I mean that's if you marry your friend. But typically with those kind of relationships, these people are kind of bosom buddies. They walk together for the longest. So it's kind of almost like you're guaranteed that, oh, even if I don't make friends in my old age or whatever, I have this bestie, with me all the time. And I also feel another benefit is you create a lot more memories together that are tangible, and you're stacking them. And because you have made that decision to say you're definitely going to get married together, you can plan your life together without you being doubting that, oh, I have to go pick a different partner, and just suffering in the dating pool and stuff like that. You just know, okay, this is my person. We go die here together, or we go live here together. Whatever the case is, we better build together. So I feel like there's that kind of focus that you have. It's not like when you're not married to the person, if you could still do it with the person you're dating with, right? But because you're not locked into them, you have options. So really, to build a life, you won't really put in 100 because you still have options. But I feel like once if you are married to the person and they are also your best friend, then you guys, your mindset of building things will probably and looking at your future ahead is gonna be higher. And also because your energy is high, like she said, you will be able to accomplish those things together faster, at a faster pace, because you're still young and this is your goal, and then you just run with it. When you're older, you could do it, but you're just tired and drained, dealing with somebody else's madness.
Okay, so back to what Dawn mentioned, that because you are young, you are growing, you are able to keep up with the children, right? Which sounds interesting and amazing, but doesn't it come with a lot of mistakes and errors because you haven't fully developed, mentally, emotionally. So I know, like I said, the question was, marrying early comes with some benefit, but I just want to just touch a little bit, being married at that early age because you are growing. Doesn't it come with some errors and mistakes and other things that will make life a lot more challenging?
I think essentially yes. I think that marriage and rearing children kind of parallel each other in that respect. When you have your firstborn suffers your ignorance more than the next ones, right? So they get all these rules that the parent thinks that must be this way, and then when you get further on, maybe the rules are relaxed because you realize it's really not that serious. And then, but the later children benefit and don't benefit from the lack of energy. So the oldest child gets all the the weird rules, they get all the misguided parental experiences because the parent isn't quite polished as a parent,
Yeah.
but they get all the energy.
Right.
The latter child gets the experienced parent that doesn't have the energy.
Yeah.
And I think the same for when you're in a relationship, when you marry. When you marry young, you have all the energy, but you have none of the sense, right? But there's if you're in it for the long haul, you make it to the latter part where you're like, I'm tired, but
We have
I
made it.
you know
have to
like
keep it going.
I already know how this is gonna go.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna stress these things because it's not that important. In the beginning of marriage, that for someone who starts young, or just in the beginning of a marriage, you have a lot of everything is a problem.
Yeah.
This problem is the biggest problem we've ever faced, which is true. But
True.
later on, you're like, that was
Yeah,
nothing.
that's-
It was such a small thing,
That's
you
right.
know.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you gauge it, like which is better, but there are differences for sure.
Cool. Any addition? Any?
Well, I also feel like if you, this is the other side, if you get married a little bit later, you have time, like what Octavia said, to know yourself. So when you know yourself, you're not just going to accept whatever comes. So at that point, your options are many, so to say. Because when you marry this your best friend at a younger age, like you said, the nonsense, everything, you have to just take it and go with it, right? But when you're at an older age, you're more mature. You know what ticks you off and what you just cannot entertain. So you save yourself that kind of headache. In your old age, I think you will just be cruising smoothly. But if you marry a nonsensical person in old age, now you are really gonna be depleted of energy. Might go to an early grave.
All right. These are all interesting topics, interesting point of view that came across. I think to sum it all, there is no timeline, there is no age, perfect age to get married. Societies,
But don't be getting married as a minor.
that's definitely,
Yeah,
definitely.
don't be
That's a
no, we
given.
just want to put that out there. Don't be getting married as a minor, underage, because we know there's these forced marriages, like for underage children. We do not condone that.
All right.
So please,
Yes,
age
so
of
don't
maturity.
get married as a minor. At least you should be of age, and the best thing to consider is to be mature in thought, in actions, and don't let the pressure of age in the society and the communities that we find ourselves force you to rush to get married because the people around you, because the society, the church you come from, the school, your course mate, your classmates are all getting married, so you feel you have to force yourself into it. But just understand you have that mental capacity to stay with someone, to make the choice and go through it all. If you are lucky and you have all the resources, the mindset, the finances, everything to get married early, congratulations, keep it up. If you don't have everything, yes, exactly, the discipline. If you don't have it and you have to wait till you are mature enough to bring someone into your life, that is also fine. But the best thing is don't let life pressure you into bringing someone into your life. Thank you, everyone, for coming to make this a success. And thank you for watching. I hope you will like, you will share, and subscribe to our channel. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Peace.
Are we still recording? Okay. Thank you. I always have questions, so whenever you want to, I always start them.
Test.